What is up, everybody? My name is Viola. I am the host of the Cerberus system. On this channel, we discuss DID, various topics involving DID, such as others, also known as alters to other people. I say others because it's a more comfortable term for me. It's okay if you call them alters, I understand. How certain others end up in someone's system, the types of others. We have some chats about my system here. Just a whole lot of different DID content. We also discuss other mental health topics like depression and anxiety, and things like phobias, and occasionally some gaming and stuff. It's a very variety-filled channel. Today, we're going to talk about Persecuters, what their role is in the system, why they show up, and of course, my own personal experiences. I want to make a note of this for future videos. Some of these types of others I don't have any experience with, but I will be sharing information about them when I get to them. So, as always, I've got my phone because my memory is terrible and there's a lot of info to go through. Persecutors. A common type of alter often acts in a harmful way, but there is a protective logic behind a persecutor's actions. Persecutors often have a distorted view of reality and may disrupt therapy or intentionally injure the person's body, for example, to punish child alters for disclosing abuse that has been kept secret. All alters should be treated with equal kindness despite their behaviors, and persecutors are often seen as misguided protectors, which can be negotiated with. Some persecutors may threaten to kill off the host and appear to have no positive or protective intentions, however, they can still be engaged with. Some persecutors may be interjects of abusers. So, basically, they are misguided protective alters. Their methods are usually seen as horrible, abusive, cruel, or malicious. And some people may even think that it's their own brain trying to harm them, and this is also one of many reasons that this is confused for schizophrenia. However, like that said, they are misguided. They are there to help you in their own way, and they are still technically protectors, though they aren't really sure technically of how to handle it, essentially. They don't really know the right way to do it and can usually be reasoned with, though there are times where they cannot be. So, how do they wind up in the system? Usually, as the case with most DID, it is through trauma and most notably abuse. As it was noted in that article that I just read to you, many times a persecutor will be interject, or a real person who becomes who's kind of like an alter in your mind. Okay, how do I explain interjects real quick? Interjects are basically, as far as I can tell, it's a real person, but it's based on a real person, but it's an alter, essentially. That way there's no confusion of what I'm saying. It's hard to understand me sometimes. But anyway, from my experience with a persecutor, I've actually had two. The first one was Bastial, who I have mentioned in the past is a giant demon in a cage. He is an animal demon. I believe he is technically a fictive of the nine-tailed fox from Naruto, but I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure, because it seems very similar. The other, who is still technically a persecutor, is Hans. With Hans, I'm not really sure how to describe him, and I don't want to go too into detail because I want him to have his own video. But honestly, what I can tell you is he's one of my oldest alters, being about mid-30s, early 40s, from what I can tell. He is definitely of the silent majority, given the ship analogy that I always use, where I'm the captain, Serenity's my first mate. The ones who front the most often are on the top deck. Below deck are the ones who don't front as often, and in the brig would be the persecutors. Essentially, they are kept away from everyone else for the most part. At least in my case. Usually a persecutor will be kind of free to do what they want. Hans, by his personality, likes solitude. He feels like he's no good, and I've been wanting to reach out to him and say, hey, you know, you're not evil, I don't understand you. But there was a time I felt he was evil, and that he was just trying to hurt me. And I do attribute some of my self-harm in the past to his words. And honestly, like, that can happen. You know, he's not really, he's not an interdect. He's not based on anyone, as far as I can tell. It's very difficult to explain where exactly he came from and when. But I will say that he is one of the persecutors that scared me the most. Because at first his voice was very distorted, it was very strange sounding, it kind of echoed because of the area he lives in. And, you know, I remember a while he would say, like, things like, oh, they're all just gonna laugh at you. You know, don't do this, you're not strong enough. You know, and that's very similar to how Bastiel was, where he'd say, you're weak. You know, and Bastiel has since become a protector. You know, I've begun to understand him better, and I hope to do the same with Hans. That being said, he's a little bit harder to reach than Bastiel, who is a little bit more vocal with being a protector. Honestly, trying to understand one of these persecutors can be tricky, it can be jarring, it can be terrifying, but I want you to know that there is no such thing as a bad alter. There is misunderstood alters, and others, whatever you want to call them. I'm getting wrapped up in the terminology. I usually call them others, but I'm trying to keep this kind of open to anybody. But there is no bad other. There is no, you know, evil ones. They are just ones that you either have, you know, you kind of not paid attention to, and they're trying to get your attention, or ones that just need help from you. You know, they'll help you when you help them, when you begin to understand them. Hopefully this was helpful to you, because honestly I'm learning so much, and I'm really happy that people are actually watching these and are very interested, and I'm very glad that there are people being engaged with these videos. Anyway, this is a much shorter video. I didn't have that much to say on the whole thing. It's very straightforward. Honestly, with the description that I read, you pretty much told you everything you need to know, and my experiences are relatively limited in certain respects. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you stopping by. I always do. If you like what I do here, like, comment, subscribe, all that good kind of stuff. It really helps me out a lot, especially with this algorithm. It is a mess. And as always, you're beautiful, you're valid, and you're important. And you're very, very, very important to me and everyone up here. And I will see you in the next video that I make. So until then, goodbye.